So you're thinking about getting a sauna and you're trying to decide if you're going to DIY it or grab a kit. And as a seasoned DIY pro, I am here to help you decide because trust me, it's not as easy as it looks. And I've got the inside scoop to help you decide. About a year ago, I decided that I wanted to get a sauna, and you're probably in the same boat as me. I quickly ruled out infrared saunas because, in my opinion, those don't get hot enough, and I was listening to Huberman and Rhonda Patrick, and they kind of agree with me. So off the bat, those were ruled out. I tend to DIY pretty much everything for myself, including lots of projects in my house, and even a cold plunge outside for that contrast therapy between the sauna and the cold plunge. And that sticker shock from those kits really just drove me to say, hey, I'm not gonna pay that much, and I'm gonna look into doing it myself and saving a bunch of money. So I watched pretty much every DIY video that I could find, and I would say on average, they were spending between $3,500 and $4,500 to DIY a sauna. I reached out to a friend of mine who has a sauna and asked for some advice on what I should be looking for or what to include if I was gonna DIY a sauna. And he gave me three main tips. And one was to get a bigger heater than you think you needed so that the sauna would heat up very quickly. The other thing that he said was multi-level seating. He was a big fan of that. And the last thing is get the biggest sauna that you can afford because he likes to sauna with people. And now looking back, I definitely endorse and agree with all three of those things. But there was something in the DIY videos that I was noticing, and it was time. Most of these guys looked like pros to me, or that they were very handy based on the other videos that they make. So these guys weren't slouches, and they were spending 4, 5, 6 full days building their barrel saunas. And as someone who has a full-time job and then my hobby is YouTube, I'm basically pinned into doing this on weekends. And so if I'm spreading 40 to 60 hours out over multiple weekends, the time cost to me is just huge. Now I can hear you through the screen saying, but Richard, kits take time too. And that is definitely true, but I started researching the kits. I started watching build videos, and I personally landed on Redwood Outdoors. And this is not a sponsored video by them, but that's the kit that I landed on. They had a large barrel sauna that you could upgrade the heater to the 8 kW. It had multi-level seating and room for about 6 people with a price tag of $7,500. And yes, I can also hear you saying that's way more than the DIY version, and that is definitely true. But it gets even worse because then there was shipping on top of that, which was $500, which drove the price up to $8,000 for the kit. Now that's $4,000 more than the DIY version. But so far, one of the main differences is that you're definitely going to get a reliable name brand heater if you go with Redwood Outdoors or other kit companies versus to get that DIY cost down, people are using much cheaper heaters. And here's the real kicker, and that's build time. And this is where things get really interesting. So I ordered my kit, and it had about a 12-week lead time before it came in. And over the course of 3 days, I took 3 half days to put the kit together, and I estimate that it was about 12 hours of time to build this kit. Now, there are some things that the DIY and the kit are going to need, and that potentially could be a foundation and definitely electrical. So for me, I didn't have a patio set up and I didn't want to put it on my deck. So I had to make a foundation, which I would have had to do for the DIY version, but if you have a patio, you could just set it down. And then the electrical, I don't recommend DIYing 240 volts. I didn't, and I normally do for electrical, but for this one, I did not. Since I didn't have a patio, I took about a day, an extra $250, and I poured what they call these concrete fingers, which would have been the case for DIY or the barrel. Then electrical, and that was a big cost. To run the line and get everything hooked up, which would have been the same for me, whether barrel or DIY, that was $1,700. So right now, my kit sauna's total is just under $10,000 US and about 20 hours of time to do the foundation and build the kit. Now let's break down the DIY version. I'm still gonna need the foundation, so that's an additional $250. And you have to have $1,700 for that electrical. So that's gonna get us to about $6,000. Then if you want to up to the name brand 8 kW heater, that's an additional $650. So now you're at $66.50. Suddenly, the gap is starting to shrink quite a bit between the kit and the DIY version. And of course, the DIY version still is going to take 40 to 60 hours. That's assuming that you're handy and that you have the tools. And I was actually looking at DIYing a barrel just like this, and that would have required me to get router bits so that I could start milling down the wood into staves and actually having the skills to be able to do that. And speaking of skills, if you're tempted to tackle a DIY sauna or really any project, having the right know-how is definitely key. This video is sponsored by Skillshare. They've got classes on beginner woodworking, and I'm currently working my way through their electrical engineering videos because I have hopes in the future of making custom printed circuit boards. And I don't have time to be stumbling all around the internet going from video to video. I need high quality classes that can save me time and teach me exactly what I need to know. Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives with thousands of classes led by industry experts across film, illustration, design, freelance, productivity, and so much more. Skillshare can help you take your career, skills, hobbies, passions, or like me, your side hustle to the next level. The first 500 people to use my link in the description below will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare, so get started today. Okay, back to the numbers. So the kit is going to be $10,000 and 20 hours of work. And the DIY version that would be roughly equivalent to this would be $66.50 and about 60 hours of work. That is a $3,350 difference, and you save about 40 hours. To break even, you'd have to value your time at $84 an hour, which is very high depending on what you do. But if you switch to the smaller kits, like the smaller barrels or even the cubes that they have, that $3,300 can shrink significantly, and you can even get to a break-even level depending on the kit that you choose. In addition to the price argument, you've also got the issues of ventilation and protecting the wood versus the heater. That's something in the DIY version that you're going to have to figure out that's pretty much solved for you with the kit. The company making the kit has thought all this through. They put the vents in, they've put protective shielding up to protect the wood from all of that heat, and you don't have to worry about that at all if you go with the kit. With the DIY version, those are going to be problems that you have to solve on your own. Now again, this isn't a sponsored video by Redwood Outdoors, but I did join their affiliate program, and you can use the link in the description below to save $250 if you are kit curious. But I will give a shout out to Redwood Outdoors because their instruction manual was phenomenal. Seriously, I'm not just saying this. This is the best instruction manual I've ever used for assembling any product, and I genuinely mean that. It was incredibly easy to use, and if ever anything wasn't unclear, which didn't really happen, they also have videos showing you how to assemble the kit that you purchase. So bottom line, DIY can definitely save you cash depending on the kit that you get. But if you get a smaller kit, you can break even, and a kit will definitely save you tons of time and headache. I hope this helps you decide. Thank you so much for watching. Drop me a thumbs up if this was helpful, and we will see you next time.